it's a direct threat. They have a history of wars with Russia. Germany tried that. France tried that. They never won. Britain even has been involved in conflicts with Russia. They know that Russia is a huge country. It's even bigger than the United States. Probably not probably, but actually the world's largest country. And they have much to lose with any escalation in this war. They depend on Russia for their oil supplies. I think not yet. I mean, yes, he has threatened to take the war to NATO countries if the United States and its European allies let Ukraine use long-range missiles against Russian targets. But I think so far it is just a warning. He's not going to use it anytime soon. But if the situation escalates, if they actually use long-range missiles to hit targets inside Russia, then the situation can change. If the situation changes, then Putin will have no other option but to either surrender or to take the war to other NATO countries. Well, these are the missiles that some European countries, particularly Britain and France, have supplied to Ukraine. They have given them these weapons, but they have not given them the permission to use them. And so far, they have been installed inside Ukraine to send a message to Russia that if you further escalate the war, then there is this option also there, and Ukrainians can use that option. So don't go to that extent. So far, it is just a warning. But now it seems that the war in Ukraine has reached a stage where no side is making any progress. And that suits Russia. I mean, Russia is a huge country. It has enough resources to prolong the war as long as it can, but it does not suit Ukraine. Ukraine is a small country. It does not have enough resources. The Ukrainians also know that they depend entirely on support from the United States and their European allies. And this support is there today. Tomorrow it may not be there. And therefore, it suits Ukraine to end the war or bring the war to a result as soon as possible. I mean, they also are actually concerned about the consequences of this escalation. As I explained earlier, I mean, if Ukraine is able to hit targets inside Russia, deep into Russia, I mean, those missiles their range is long enough to hit any target anywhere in Russia. If that happens, then obviously Russia will look very weak if it does not respond. And it will be a direct threat to Putin as well, because he is the one who actually started this aggression. He is the one who took this war to Ukraine, and he needs to win the war. And if not, at least he does not want to look like as if he's losing the war. And so the Americans also, I mean, there are people in Washington who realize that this is a matter of survival for Putin. And if Ukraine actually starts hitting targets deep inside Russia, then Putin may actually respond by hitting targets inside NATO countries in and around Russia. I mean, there are NATO allies all around Russia, and even major NATO allies like Germany and France are also not very far from the Russian mainland. And that's why you see, that's why the Americans actually do not, I mean, they want to see Ukraine inflicting losses to Russia. They want Ukrainians to have an upper hand in the war, but they do not want to let it go out of hand. Europeans, it's a direct threat. They have a history of wars with Russia. Germany tried that. France tried that. They never won. Britain even has been involved in conflicts with Russia. They know that Russia is a huge country. It's even bigger than the United States. Probably not probably, but actually the world's largest country. And they have much to lose with any escalation in this war. They depend on Russia for their oil supplies. Russia is also a big importer of food grains, so is Ukraine. Therefore, the Europeans, particularly Britain and France, are reluctant to take the war any further without support from the United States. They want Ukraine to succeed. That's why apparently the British Prime Minister, Mr. Starmer, came to Washington this week. He met President Biden at the White House on Friday, and he tried to persuade Mr. Biden to let the Ukrainians use these long-range missiles, but he did not succeed. I mean, the Americans said that they are with Ukraine, they are with the European allies, but they do not think that now is the time for using these missiles. Because, and since Americans are reluctant, so are the Europeans. The Europeans do not want to do it alone. I think they would be reluctant to take any major decisions so close to the elections. Whatever they do will have a direct impact on the elections. You know that the Democrats are already vulnerable. Because of Biden, they came very close to losing this election, but Kamala Harris has resurrected their hopes, and now it is almost a neck-to-neck fight, and any big mistake at this stage can cost them the elections. So I think the Biden administration would also not want to actually let anything happen that forces it to make a major decision that may cost them the election. And that's why I think U.S. administration is reluctant to permit Ukraine to use the long-range missiles.